Yo, what's going on, man? Today is May the 5th, 2023. It's your boy Chris, and this is the ChrisBeCappinn Show live on Twitter, also live on YouTube as well. Do me a favor as you guys join, hit the like button for me, retweet the show. Make sure you text your cousin, your brother, your sister, your coworker who you was talking about the show with earlier. Let them know the ChrisBeCappinn Show on, man. Let's see if we can get to some more cash today. Yesterday was a pretty good day. 5-2 overall. Plays in the recap posted at the bottom if you guys are watching on YouTube. Let's start with the negative. So we were on Golden State first quarter. Shout out to my guy Finesse. We talked about not playing first quarters, man. And now another one bit me in the butt yesterday. Bron couldn't miss a shot in the first quarter. Lakers actually looked like they were in control of the game early. It took Golden State a while to kind of get their footing. I think just to kind of adjust into the lineup as well. We know that JaMychal Green started in place of Kevon Looney, and Golden State had to adjust just a tad bit. So Golden State first quarter did not cash. The first half did cash, -3.5. I was on Wiggins and probably should have just been on Clay again. Clay was the guy again last night. Dude absolutely went crazy. So Wiggins over 25.5 points, rebounds, and assists did not cash. But Anthony Inconsistent Davis, did go under his 42.5 points, rebounds, and assists. It was never a sweat. I talked about, just people that I'm not forcing anybody to take the plays, but I told people that, this one had potential to be a blowout. If it did, Anthony Davis wouldn't even be in. So you could have took the points under, could have took the rebounds under, you could have parlayed them together. I just decided to play the PRA all together. So that was a good cash. And then the under 227.5 barely got there. Lakers worst defensive performance in the playoffs so far this season, which is why this total, was so close to going over. So always, best to get always good to get the best number, like I always, talk about and always preach. So if you got 227, you got to push. If you got 227.5, you did get a cash. So that was a good cash. And then I also had talked about both of the home teams losing game one, not, bouncing back and winning game two. So Golden State, Boston money line parlay was actually a pretty big bet for me. I gave it out as a 1-unit play, but they both cashed, relatively easy. Both teams actually covered the spread as well. So moving on to today, we have just two games. I'm gonna get into them real quick, talk about a couple plays that I like, also a couple player props that I like for tonight, and we'll get up out of here. So let's get right into it. Like I said, hit the like button for me if you guys joined late. Shout out to everybody in the chat as always. David said, join today, Chris. Thank you for all you do, man. I appreciate that, David. Got a FanDuel bonus perk. Took Boston -1.5 for +123. Ah, man, David, you sound like a smart guy. So we'll get into it. Scotty says, like the video. Appreciate it if you guys do. Sean said, what's going on? What's up, Sean? Hit the thumbs up. Hit the like button. DJ said, D-Book legacy game tonight loading. Okay, we'll talk a little bit about that. Scotty likes Devin Booker 8 assists and campaign 4 threes. It's a lotto. I'm definitely going to touch on campaign. Star Child says, hit the like button. Campaign, double, Book and KD 25. And then we got some what else? Abacai says got nothing tonight so far. Okay. Star Child said he cashed the Lakers first quarter and cashed the Warriors first half. The under was crazy, Star Child. I'm glad we got there though. Said the under was miraculous. It definitely was. Estavan says, what do you think about the Nuggets? And he says that he took the Celtics and the Nuggets. So let's jump into it. So first game up, we got the Boston Celtics traveling to Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love tonight. They are 2.5-point favorites. We know that the news came out earlier that came out yesterday that Joel Embiid is listed as questionable for this game. I think that, got some money coming in on Philly. Coming in on Boston in this spot. And we have a total of 215.5 points. The line did move. I think the Celtics opened as 1.5-point favorites. They are now 2.5-point favorites at most books. And you can get a 2. You can get a 2 as well. A couple of different books, you can get a 2. Definitely shop around, get the best of the number in these really, really tight spreads. What the bookmakers are telling us here is that they think this game is pretty neutral. They think this game is pretty neutral because, typically you get – well, I wouldn't say that. I would say that they give a slight edge to the Boston Celtics because home court advantage does weigh a little bit more when you look at projected lines in the playoffs specifically. So they're giving an edge, slightly to Boston in this game. And I do too, man. I think, just looking at the game, Boston bounced back in game 2. They won that game, pretty convincingly. Jason Tatum didn't have a great game. His services really wasn't needed because Boston, hit the barrage of threes in the third quarter, specifically Malcolm Brogdon, and a few of those other guys. They played extremely well in that spot. So just a couple things I want to touch on for this game. So first, I went back and kind of looked into how the Celtics have been playing, because the stat that I've been given to you guys, anybody that's been watching the show should have this one kind of memorized by this point now. The Boston Celtics are 9-11 straight up and against the spread, coming off a win since the postseason last season. So they do this thing where they go back and forth between win loss. However, and then of course we typically take them after a loss. They're 9-0 straight up and against the spread if you factor out the two games that they lost in the finals. 9-2 if you factor in the two games that they lost in the finals against the Warriors last season. So fast forward back. So I'm looking at the quotes, right? I see a quote from Jaylen Brown. He says we got to take more pride in ourselves. That's it. I just feel like we underperformed last game, talking about game one. So we want to come out. So we wanted to come out and play to the best of our ability, and that's what we did. Jaylen Brown also goes on and says to say that defense is all about pride. Defense is all about effort. We got to do a better job no matter who's out there. Said that defense hasn't been up to par in the playoffs at times. Going forward, we got to make sure we're embracing each and every challenge. So, this is the next thing I'll say. I'll say that I think the Celtics are favored for a reason. In a series where both teams have kind of won one game. Typically, the team that wins game 3 goes on to win the series. A large majority of the time. And I think that the Philadelphia 76ers are a really, really good basketball team. Nothing against the Philadelphia 76ers. You don't even have to take my bet in this spot, but I'm riding with the Celtics here, man. So here's my notes on the game. Currently, if you look at Boston, this team is 4-1 straight up in games versus the Philadelphia 76ers this season, where Embiid has played. The one win, of course, they won one game. That was the game, that was played on April the 4th, where Embiid was, still kind of campaigning for the MVP. He went for 50 that game. The Celtics was a throwaway game for the Celtics, even though they played hard. They covered the spread. Still had a chance to win the game, even though they didn't have Jaylen Brown and Robert Williams in that game. The Celtics are 5-0 against the spread in those 5 games against the Philadelphia 76ers this season. So one of the things I looked at, because I saw that the Boston Celtics were favored on the road in this spot, was I looked at when teams lose their first game outright at home, but then they go on to win the second game, and then they're favored in the third game. That's the situation that Boston's in. They won the first game, lost the second game, and then of course they're favorites in the third game. Those teams are 25-9 straight up. So if you just didn't know anything about basketball and I told you that, there's 74% chance that the Boston Celtics win the game tonight if you just took them on the money line. So I looked a little bit deeper. If you factor in that the road games, that the road favorite in game 3 won game 2 by margin, so by 20, 25 points or more, those teams are 9-1 straight up, 8-1-1 against the spread in games 3 as well. Pretty nice size sample of about 10 games, throughout the historical database. And the way I interpreted the trend is that, when you lose game 1 as a home favorite, you kind of gotta go back in there and reassert yourself and get that home court advantage back. So I like Boston a lot today. And I did play them. I laid the 2 points with Boston on the current line. You guys see is 2.5, but I laid 2. I think I got it at -115. And I took it on Caesar. Yeah, I took it on Caesars earlier this morning and gave this out to the YouTube membership group then. I will say this. If you so those are just the trends. Those are the quotes from Jaylen Brown. The last thing I'll add real quick is that I don't think that Joel Embiid is 100%. I think that Philly, the Wells Fargo Center, I think is what it's called, is going to be rocking today with Embiid getting his MVP. But I still don't think he's 100%. I think that they match up better without him. Not that they're a better team, but I do think that they match up better without him. So yeah, give me Philly and give me Boston in this spot. I will say this: Boston is listed as Embiid is listed as questionable, and if he's ruled in, you can get a better number, because I do anticipate this line to come down, maybe to 2, maybe to even a 1.5 in favor of the Boston Celtics. But I do think that classic zigzag theory. A lot of people probably gonna want to take Philly in this spot, and if you do, like I said, I can't talk you off. I feel pretty confidently about Boston today, though, and I did lay the 2 points with them today. So that's what I got as far as the side. As far as the total, total at 215. I played the under. I played the under 215. I think it's dropped. It's going. I think it's actually going up to 215 and a half. I just look at this. I look at these two teams and how they play against each other. Both teams play really slow. Both teams are really, really good. They pride themselves on the defensive end. So you look at the Sixers with Embiid this season. They were only home dogs. Philly played really, really well at home. I think there was something like 26-16 against the spread. They won majority of their games at home. But if you look at them in games where they were home dogs, they finished 3-1 to the under. In those 4 games, the total stayed under by an average of 8 points as well. And all comparable teams, like to the Celtics, that play really good defense and they play at a slow pace. Those teams that the Philadelphia 76ers were home dogs to include the Phoenix Suns, the Milwaukee Bucks, which the Bucks were playing at a little bit slower pace then, the Minnesota Timberwolves, and then one of those games were actually to the Celtics as well. So 3-1 to the under. In those 5 games that Embiid played against the Celtics this season, those games are 4-1 to the under as well, with the only over actually coming between the two teams when they matched up on opening night back on October 18th. And if you take that game out, these games are actually averaging about 209 points, and they stand under by a total of about 15 points per game. And then the last thing I want to mention on the total is that if I go back to the query that I just talked to you guys about, so if in a game 3 the road teams are favorites after losing game 1 and winning game 2 by margin 25 points or more, then game 3s typically go under at a historical rate. They're 7-3 to the under, and they're staying under by an average of 10 points per game as well. So I think it's going to be a dogfight. I don't necessarily think it's going to be easy, but I do like Boston in this spot today. So I took Boston -2. I also played the under 215 in this game. As far as player props, Marcus Smart is the one that kind of sticks out to me the most. Jaylen Brown has been extremely consistent. I think he's second in the NBA right now as far as 3-point efficiency. So I couldn't talk anybody off playing his threes. I also first let me go in order. So Tatum could be due for a bounce back game, absolutely, right? He played bad, he stunk it up last game, and combination of him not playing well, getting in foul trouble, and them just blowing him out without him, he could be in for a bounce back game. Couldn't talk anybody off Tatum. But I like Marcus Smart. So Marcus Smart, we cashed on his points, rebounds, and assists over in game 2. And I don't see reason, not to go back. His the line's still 20.5. He had 22 in game 2, points, rebounds, and assists combined. He only played 27 minutes because of the blowout. Didn't touch the floor in the fourth quarter. And he's over in 6 of the 7 playoff games so far this season. He continues to be a really big Swiss Army knife for this team. He's going to get a few rebounds. He's definitely going to distribute the ball as well. And he's been clearing his points prop as well. He's just a little more aggressive on the offensive end. Tatum and Jaylen Brown drawing a lot of attention as well. Another reason why I really like Marcus Smart is because he typically steps up in road games as well. So I got Marcus Smart going over this number in 4 straight games on the road, dating all the way back to in the first round. But if you go back into the last playoff season, he's actually hit this number over the 20.5 points, rebounds, and assists in 9 of 11 games. So only staying under 2 times. So that's the reason why I like Marcus Smart today. I think the old saying is if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I like Marcus Smart today. I think it's a safe play. I think he should definitely cash. And I don't want to take too many overs in a game that I'm taking the under on. So I don't think Marcus Smart is going to score too many points, but I do expect him to contribute otherwise. So Marcus Smart is my favorite points rebound, my favorite prop in this game. Also, until Harden figures it out with Joel Embiid in the lineup, I do lean towards his under 34.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I know that he played well in game 1. In game 2 with Embiid, though, this guy just doesn't really do as much with Embiid being out there. It also slows down the pace as well. So Harden, he's averaging 21 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 7.5 assists in 6 playoff games so far. So it's good for 34, right on the number. 34.5 is what the number is. 34 points, rebounds, and assists. But in the 4 games with Embiid, he's actually stayed under this number 3 straight. And 3 of the last 4 games in the playoffs, he's only went over his points, rebounds, and assists twice in the last 8 playoff games with Embiid in. And these games include last series when they lost to the Miami Heat. That's earlier this year, and against Brooklyn earlier in the first round against Brooklyn as well. And that included with the only over being in the first game against Boston. So without Embiid. So I like Harden to go under his points, rebounds, and assists. I think Boston did a really good job on him last game, and I don't necessarily think it's going to be him. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. I didn't play it, but that's one of the looks that I kind of capped. Next game, and I'm gonna go pretty quickly through this one because I'm already tired of talking. We got the Denver Nuggets traveling to Phoenix to try to put the Suns out of their misery, man. If they go up 3-0, then odds are the Suns don't have a chance to come back and win this series. So 4-point home favorites for the Suns. Total is at 225, and I think this is a very, very interesting game. I didn't play the game, but I think it's pretty telling that the Denver Nuggets won both games at home. You get the news that they open as 5-point favorites. You get the news that Chris Paul will not be available for this game or the next game, or probably game 5 either, if there is a game 5. Won't be available for games 3 through 5 because of the hamstring tightness. So the line goes from 5, which is what it opened at. Comes all the way down to 3.5 in favor of the Suns. So a lot of money come in on the Suns. I'm sorry, a lot of money come in on the Nuggets, and then you see the line go back up to 4 in favor of Phoenix. So I know everybody's kind of like counting Phoenix out. Denver's the better team. They have the most depth. They have Jokic. They have Jamal Murray. The Suns don't really have anybody. They have the worst bench in the NBA. I think they're only averaging like 12 points in the playoffs, something like that. But for some reason, the Suns are still favored. So one of the things I looked at was, because I thought the line was so telling, was how do these teams do in this situation specifically? So I looked at road dogs who have 2 wins, which the Denver Nuggets do, and they're in game 3. Those teams are only 25 and 58 straight up. So 70% says to fade them on the money line. Those teams are 31, 50, and 2 against the spread. That's 62% says to take the Phoenix Suns tonight as well. So I'm just sharing that because I don't want people to think that it's going to be easy for the Denver Nuggets in this spot. I understand that Jokic should probably win the MVP and he's playing elite this year. But I just don't think it's that easy. What I did play in this game was I played the under, because to me it kind of feels like, even though Chris Paul is going to be out, which typically means the pace is going to increase, Campaign is going to be in. He typically plays a little bit faster. To me, if the Suns are going to win this game, it won't be because of their offense. I don't think it'll be any kind of Kevin Durant, Devin Booker sighting at all. I think they're going to have to lock in on the defensive end and lock the Nuggets up. Honestly, I just don't think that if you go through and look at it, I looked at it earlier, the Phoenix Suns don't have a lot of scoring at all. Outside of Devin Booker, Chris Paul, outside of Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, and Kevin Durant for this game, I don't see a lot of guys that's going to fill it up. Now, I'm not saying somebody can't come off the bench and score 15 to 20 points, and I do expect their bench to play better today. I just think that the Suns have to get it done on the defensive end. I think the Nuggets defense travels well. These teams are playing at a pace of about 95 points per possession, which is not extremely fast at all. It's not fast. These teams haven't been extremely efficient throughout the series as well. And I do think that the Phoenix Suns, I think the Nuggets want to come in here and try to steal a game, still a quick game. Do I think that they win the game? I don't. Did I lay the points with the Suns? No. But I did play the total under 225 because I do think the Suns do it with their defense more so with their offense. And I think the bigger lean would probably be the Nuggets team total under, which I didn't play. I just played the full total under 225. So those are my thoughts there. As far as props in this game, I think Jamal Murray under has to be taken into consideration as well. We saw how poorly he played in the first round when he was on the road. In those 2 road games, he looked like a little bit like Anthony Davis. He takes that big dip. He's averaging just 18.5 points, 13 rebounds and assists. So he's averaging 31 points, rebounds, and assists combined in those 2 road games. Shooting just 40%, 23% from the 3-point line. He's also not getting to the free throw line, shooting less than 3 free throw attempts per game in those road games so far. And I think you got to figure out a way to contain him. Back against the wall, super desperation spot. The one person I feel like the Phoenix Suns can't contain would be the other guy, Jokic. I don't think that they have anything that they can throw at Jokic outside of a double team. And if you throw the double team at him, he's going to make the right play, which is why Monty Williams hasn't done it so far, in my estimation, for this series. But Monty has to, make the adjustments. I think we'll see some adjustments. Everything is on the table. He's already talked about playing T.J. Warren and Terrence Ross. If guys like, Okigi and Torrey Craig aren't playing well, I do think that you see that adjustment as well. But I like Jokic in this spot. I like his points plus rebounds. I don't think I'm gonna play the assist because I feel like his assist numbers go down on the road. I think some of the role players don't play as well. Aaron Gordon, Christian Braun, KCP that was hitting all the threes in the first two games. I don't think that those guys play as well. So I laid off his points, rebounds, and assists, and I looked at his points plus rebounds. 39.5 is a pretty high number, but this dude is averaging 41.5 points plus rebounds in the playoffs in 2 road games so far. And those were against much better defenders in the first round when he was going up against, Rudy Gobert. Karl-Anthony Towns, not so much. But, Denver, Phoenix legit has nobody that they can really put on him. So I like Jokic points plus rebounds. I think if anybody steps up for the Denver Nuggets today, it will be him. No surprise. But I just feel like Phoenix doesn't have an answer. So going back and talking about just a quick recap. Let's see. Let me make a recap button. Recap tab real quick. So quick recap. In the first game, I talked about the Philadelphia 76ers and the Boston Celtics. I laid the 2 points with the Boston Celtics. I got it at a -115 on Caesars earlier, and I did play the total under 215. Also, I did play Marcus Smart, points, rebounds, and assists over 20.5 as well as my favorite player prop in that game. Continuing on, the next game, Nuggets and the Suns. I didn't play anything official as far as the side, but I did take the total under 225 yesterday. And I also, I know Nuggets and the Suns. This is where I got a spicy play. Campaign threes. 3 is plus, so 1.5 is plus money. I think it's plus 145 to plus 150, depending on where you're shopping. He's just going to be out there. He's going to get the minutes in my estimation because while some of those 3s and 4 guys like Torrey Craig and Okigi can be replaced for guys like Terrence Ross and guys like T.J. Warren off the bench, they don't really have another backup point guard. So I think that, Campaign's minutes are solidified. I like him a little bit better at home. I think Devin Booker and Kevin Durant draw a lot of double teams. So he's going to be the guy that's going to get the looks. He shot the ball, horrifically in the last game. He shot pretty bad. But I do expect to bounce back being at home in a desperation spot for Campaign. So his threes, like I said, 1.5 is plus money. 2.5. So if you take him to hit 3 is plus 490 on FanDuel. It's plus 475 on Bet365. And if you get it real spicy, 4 threes for Campaign on Bet365 is plus 1425. So maybe worth the sprinkle there. And that's probably how I take Campaign. But I do like Campaign to be the guy, to kind of step up today. So total under 225, Campaign over his 3-point prop is my favorite looks in that game. I think Kevin Durant and Devin Booker numbers are pretty safe. I do expect them to play big minutes. Could not talk anybody off their overs. But I like the value, the potential value in this spot. So those are the top looks, man. Hit the like button for me if you guys haven't already. I spoke for 25 minutes already on all the looks that I like. Let me get my guy Finesse up. Let me get game up. And then we can have another short show. I'll be cool with it because I'm tired. Let's see. See what I didn't get to in the YouTube comment section before I come to my guy Finesse. Hafiz, I think is how you pronounce. He said Book and Tatum 40-piece masterclass. Potentially. Fremont said, what it do, big bro? I'm on the Celtics money line. Let's do it. I like it. What's up to my guy S. Dot in the chat? Star Child said, I may be off, but I still lean Celtics early, first half. If that happens, 76ers second half will be the play. So I was reading something about that, Star Child, earlier. The Celtics have been the best first half team in the playoffs so far. I think they're 7-1 against the spread in the first half. And this number is going to be super short today. The Celtics play well when they typically start off pretty well also. So there's no way I could talk you off taking the Celtics early, even though I think that Philly will be, I think it's going to be rocking in there. The Celtics are a poised team, though. They have pretty much the same roster that they had last year. They went on the road and won really, really big games, a lot bigger games than the one they're facing today. So no way I could talk you off of that at all. Let's see. Brother Malcolm been a moneymaker that keeps on tonight. I can see that. I could definitely see Brogdon continuing to keep it on. I didn't play Brogdon, but this series kind of fits Brogdon for sure. Cal B said, "Would I lay the 2.5?" I like the 2, Cal. I'm sure you could lay the 2.5 if you want. I just want to kind of chill with the 2.5, man. That's why I played the 2 earlier. You want to get the better odds, you by all means go right ahead. Uncut says he's tempted to take both underdogs tonight. Hey, Uncut, as long as your system says to take it, whatever your system is, bro, long you can live with the results, you do your thing, my brother. Star Child says he liked the Nuggets. I cashed Suns first quarter and Nuggets second half last game. I think Nuggets first quarter is the look. I think I would go the opposite way, Star Child. I think the Suns got to win the first quarter tonight. If they don't win the first quarter, it could be crazy. But if you probably better in first quarters than I am, so do your thing, my boy. Don't let my opinion influence you at all. I've been crazy bad with first quarters. Suns first half would be the top look for me, Coop. I could not disagree with you there. And that's what we got. Let's see. Jeffrey says, you don't think Murray can take advantage of Campaign? I don't think, Jeffrey, that they're going to put Campaign on Murray. I kind of feel like you got to put Campaign on KCP in the corner. The Suns are just like us. If we think that Jamal Murray will dominate Campaign, then imagine the people that get to watch Campaign play defense every single day. Pretty sure they won't have him matched up on Jamal Murray. Would be the way that I think about it, Jeffrey. And it's a lot smarter people than me that work on the Phoenix Suns, coaching staff. So I don't think they're gonna leave him out there to dry Campaign guarding Jamal Murray. I do not see that being a thing today. But yeah, that's what we got. Let's go to my guy Finesse first and foremost, and then I'll come to Game and then Dream. What up, Finesse?
Oh, what's good, right? You feeling?
Hey, I'm feeling good, bro. I'm gonna feel good later. Feel even better later. If your guys come through for me.
Hell yeah.
How you doing? What's up, bro?
Good, bro. It was a great night last night. A lot of money was made, from the show. So again, we appreciate you. Also appreciate you for the AD look. Something I was looking at probably wasn't gonna play. And you kind of pushed me over the edge. Just the easy ass cash. I watched the first 12 minutes of that game and kind of knew it was an AD off night. So. Easy money there. The under was also crazy as shit. I texted you last night because I couldn't fucking believe it, bro.
Yeah.
Two points in the last 4 minutes, just incredible, bro. But I love to see we're aligned on a couple of things. We're not aligned on some other things, which I also love. Chance to somebody else's perspective and a different angle on things. So I'll try to be quick. I got a lot of. I will eventually have a lot of action tonight. So starting with the Celtics game. I'm going to be on Horford threes, over 1.5 threes. I think it's a little juiced on some books, not as juiced on other books. I don't mind taking it up to minus 150. He's been talking, and the last time we heard him talk, he kind of talked about his struggles.
That was earlier today, right, Finesse, in the interview?
I believe it was earlier today. Yeah, he was like courtside interview type of thing.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. I heard it. Okay.
Yeah, so, he talked about the struggles, 2 of 12. From 3 in the series, and he also mentioned that he's gonna keep shooting them shits, which confirms what we all kind of know, right? He's gonna get the looks, and he's gonna take them. He's never shy. I think the volume's gonna be there. Great track record in the playoffs so far this year and last year. He's really good on the road too, which you love to see. The volume is there. 6+ attempts and 6 of his last 9 on the road. He's getting value versus Philly too, especially on the road. Last 2 games on the road versus Philly, 8+ threes attempted. He made 5 and 3 in those games. And it's just a situational thing. When Embiid on the court, he's going to be the guy to kind of try to, get the anchor of that defense out of the paint. He's going to get open looks. Just got to make them. So I think if he gets, 5 to 6 looks, I think he drains them and kind of breaks out that mini slump that he's in. Like I said, I think it's a great matchup, great track record versus Philly, great track record on the road and in the playoffs overall. So, love out tonight. One thing you mentioned was Harden PRAs, kind of liking the the under there. I was actually kind of leaning the over. I don't think I'm going to get there. Harden's not trustworthy in my eyes, and that's just not so. When I have so much action, it's just not something that I feel like I want to add to the card. But we also went off in game one with no Embiid. Absolute no-show in game two with Embiid. I think that kind of levels out in this game. I think he makes more shots, and conversations have to be going on, between the guys, between the players, between coaches and players about Harden just doing his thing, no matter who is on the court, no matter feeling the need to get Embiid the ball or the need to over-facilitate. Those kind of conversations, I think, have to be happening behind closed doors. So, it's enough for me to stay off. So I'll start talking about it because I'm probably not going to play it. But also line up Boston. You said something very, very important that I 100% agree with. I think Philly's a better matchup for us with Embiid on the court. I don't think Embiid is anywhere near 100%. I think we saw that, even in, people kind of look at, how he looks, how is he running and shit like that. But I think you see it even in his offense, even in his jump shots, his shot selection. It's not easy playing with a brace on. You know what I'm saying? That could be a big adjustment for guys, even at the MVP level. So a lot of emotion tonight, MVP ceremony, back at home and stuff like that. But you mentioned the line as well. I think the line is very, very telling. Guy coming back for a second game off an injury. They're back at home, and Boston still favored it. So I took Boston on the money line and on the spread. Joe Mazzulla and our players have constantly emphasized pace and pushing the ball. You mentioned this as well, and shit that I love to hear because because the Celtics are so inconsistent in terms of effort and desire. Our players are still pissed off even after the win in game two. We're still pissed. We're still motivated, which we fucking should be. It's the playoffs. So, I think we win the game. I think we push the ball and try to get Embiid running. And I think we have a lot of success tonight. So, taking my guys, I kind of hate it. I'd rather watch it as a fan. But you also mentioned I believe you mentioned something. I've been trying to mess around with SDQL with no fucking success, but I think you mentioned something about game three road favorites and how they succeed both straight up and against the spread. So love that trend as well. I think we take care of business tonight. We win and cover the short number. So the team total, I think, is something that's just so correlated with that too. Last time I looked, it was, I think, 108 and a half. I don't think any team is capable of holding us under that number. I think it can happen, obviously. We come out, we miss shots. But this Philly team just cannot, they can't fuck with us. We shot almost 60% in game one, 40% from three. Game two shot almost 50%, 40% from three. We've controlled the boards this whole series so far. Way too many turnovers in game one, and we kind of buttoned that up. I think we only had 6 or 7 turnovers in game two, so we buttoned that up. They cannot fuck with us, especially our offense. So if you like Boston to win, I think you at least have to look at that team total, 108 and a half. Not something I'm going to play because I got a lot of money on Boston just to win already. So just wanted to point that out. Moving to the later game, I am aligned with you on Phoenix. No CP, obviously Cam comes in. The pace, obviously, again, tried to look at SDQL for this, couldn't get it to work. But just eye test, and I think, a majority of people would agree with this. And like you said, the pace definitely quickens without CP3, and I think that's good for Phoenix. They had an extra day rest, so I think it's 3 days rest now that they have. I think that's very important for a team like Phoenix, a team that's going to run a short rotation, have some older guys on the team, and you're not in that Denver altitude anymore. I think that's big. That's big for Phoenix. So I think this number is also very, very telling, like you mentioned. I know they're back at home, but no CP3, down 0-2 in the series, and they open as 5-point favorites. I think that's very, very telling. I think they, as well, we've had both coaches stress pace in this game. Monty Williams included in that. I think they run and they gun and they win and cover the spread. So I like Phoenix. That's something I'm going to be official on as well. Little bit of disagreement here. So on 2 things. So you mentioned Jamal Murray under. I actually lean over points. It's not something that I've got to the window with. Don't know about PRA, but the points is really what I'm interested in. Like you said, shot very poorly. Couldn't get anything to go on from 3 in game 2. So there's that bounce back aspect of it. And I think the adjustments, Jokic has been killing them so far in the series. So I think if adjustments are made and maybe some over adjustments towards Jokic in Game 3, I think that leaves room for Jamal to cook. He has to shoot better, and I think he will. Just from a numbers aspect and an emotional aspect, obviously. Denver has to be just as motivated as Phoenix is to push this series to 3-0, which basically guarantees you the series win. I think Jamal has to be a big part of that. So, again, something I lean right now. I appreciate your perspective in terms of viewing a different perspective, for the under. So it's something I would look more into. And I'm already exposed on Phoenix, on a spread. So don't want to have too much action out there. Also, the total, we have a little bit of disagreement on. I like the under. I disagree with, Phoenix has to lock in on the defensive side, so that kind of correlates them winning to the under. Like I said, both teams have, and both coaches have emphasized pace in this series. I think we get, like I said, like we both said, more pace without CP3 and a little bit less defense, more pace in this game. And which leads me to kind of the next look that I'm going to go official on. I've seen a lot of people on it. Action Network put out a thing, I think 90%, 99% of the bets are on KD's over, which kind of holds no water in my mind who's going to be betting the KD under, really. So I like KD tonight. Over 29.5 points, sprinkling at 35 plus as well. I love the volume. Obviously, that's mainly what I try to cap is the volume. I think he had 27 attempts last game. No CP3. I think on the surface level, okay, you got a guy that's not going to be able to get, his teammates in as good as positions to succeed and facilitate. I disagree. KD, we know what KD's about. He's going to get a true three-level scorer. He's going to get a shot, can shoot over anybody. Desperation time back against the wartime. I've been hearing way too much about, Aaron Gordon has been extra physical on him, and that's affecting him. If y'all going to trust, or whoever's out there going to trust Aaron Gordon consistently to guard KD effectively in the series, in my personal humble opinion, respectfully, I think that's absolutely fucking crazy. So if y'all gonna keep leaving him one-on-one and keep having AG try to guard him, please and thank you. I think that's a better path to 30 plus points from him. So I'm trying to look and see if there's anything I missed. I don't think so. Biggest plays for me are going to be the two sides. Phoenix to win and cover. I have Boston on the money line and on the spread. Top props would probably be Horford's threes. I really want to get there on Jamal Murray points. I don't know if I will, but a strong lead for me. And KD 30 plus is an official for me, and 35 plus as well. Because I have so much action on the totals, don't really know if I want to. I have no opinion on the total in the first game. I do like the over in the second game, but because I'm on both sides, probably stay away, but it still is a lean for me. I think it's going to be a great night. I'm glad that we're aligned on a couple of things. Boston in 5, and I think that's all I
got for you. No, that's good, Finesse. I appreciate the breakdown, bro. So the two plays that me and Finesse aren't aligned on are two unofficial plays for me. I talked about, those being leans for me. I didn't take Jamal Murray under. The only props that I actually officially took already was Marcus Smart to go over. That's my favorite player prop look of the day. I also lean Jaylen Brown to go over his as well, but I don't like taking too many overs in the same game. So, and there's also a way that Jamal Murray could hit his points prop, but not necessarily hit his PRA as well. And then the other thing that you mentioned, Finesse, I wanted to go back to the first game. And I failed to mention this when I broke it down as well. We talked about, the Philadelphia 76ers being a better matchup without Embiid, not a better team, but a better matchup against Boston without Embiid. I was thinking about this yesterday. I didn't even know that it was such a quick turnaround. So that turnaround absolutely does not. It can't favor a guy like Embiid, who's the most injured. Like he's the most susceptible to not being comfortable and being at some discomfort with the quick turnaround and them having to hop on a flight from Boston to Philly as well. So that bodes well in my estimation. Another reason why I like Boston in this spot tonight. And you get a really rested Tatum as well, who really just was chilling. He was over there, filing his taxes, cleaning his fingernails at the end of the game. So for those reasons, I want to just make sure I reemphasize that as well. What up, Finesse?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Two more quick things. I think with Harden's inconsistency and us, the complete question mark of Joel Embiid, how healthy he is. I think Tobias Harris has to be a guy you look at as well. Point line is 14.5. He's covered that in 6 straight games. I'm not really the biggest Tobias Harris fan, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think he's going to get his opportunities from the floor, from 3, and he has a great chance to go over. 6 straight games is something you can't ignore. The other thing I wanted to mention in that same game, my guy Professor's already on this, and I think it's something that has to be a must play, is Tatum's rebounds and assists. I think he had 9 or 10, I want to say, in 19 minutes. Last game, the volume in both of those categories is always going to be there for him. So if we're expecting Boston to win, cover the team total, get to 115, 120 points possibly, this has to be a play. So I've already tailed him. I didn't mention it because it's just a tail. That's my guy's play. But the volume is going to be there. He kind of sits on the weak side, both hunting rebounds and hunting defensive plays. So whether you like a block, because I think those things are correlated based on where he's going to be playing on the floor. So I think 13.5 is a number that you have to play every time you get it until they adjust to it. So I just wanted to mention those 2 things, Tatum rebounds and assists, and Tobias points.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm pretty sure somebody else gonna speak on those as well. And Finesse, when you wasn't here the other day, and they had me feeling like I was a Celtics fan trying to defend your guys in game 2. I was actually on Tatum rebounds and assists, and it absolutely would have cashed had he stayed in my estimation. I think it's something that he's went over in 7 of his last 9 games against the Philadelphia 76ers, and he just came up short. I was on it in game 1. It didn't cash, so I absolutely should go back, to it tonight. Well, I was on it in game 1. It did cash. Game 2, it didn't cash. And I definitely probably will put an asterisk beside that one, Finesse, and probably tell Professor on that, because I totally forgot about going back to the well on Tatum. I think the number is probably going to be 13.5. At least that's what it was, and he didn't hit it, so I'm pretty sure it'll probably stay the same. Appreciate you, Finesse. A lot of great looks from Finesse. Hopefully people took what they wanted from what Finesse shared and his thought process. Let me kick it to Game real quick, and then Dream, and then Cam. What up, Game?
Hey, Chris. Hey, guys. How are you, man?
Pretty good, man. How about yourself?
Great. So 2-0 in MLB so far.
Nice. Okay.
So good day so far. So I do my homework. I run some SQL about the Sixers Celtics game. The thing I think is that the more consistent I can see is the under. I like the under a lot. But the only problem I see in the playoffs right now is that the Celtics on the road, the defense is bad. It's really bad. And at home is really good, but on the road is really bad. I don't know if they play with Atlanta and they are really for the pace or something like that. But I think the strong look is the under. The spread, when you put a really short line, when the away favorite winning for more than 20 points in the previous game, you put a shorter line there, and the things are really tight. I don't see a much edge there. But like you say, Finesse say, Embiid is not 100%, so maybe you can have a edge there. And the other game, Phoenix Suns, I like the half, the points 3.5 in the first half for the Suns. I think there is the edge. The full game is -4. They put it in the first half in 3.5. So the books are telling you there is the edge for the Phoenix Suns. That's the only play I have in the NBA. And that's pretty much it.
Okay. I appreciate you sharing the look, Game. I hope you cash it, man.
Thank you, Chris.
Absolutely. Let me kick it to Dream, and then Cam, I'm coming to you. What up, Dream?
Yo.
What up, bro? How you?
What's the vibes, man? 1 second. I had to finish. I had to find a data point, and I found it. All right. What's the vibes, man? How you?
I'm good, bro. How you doing, man?
I can't complain, man. Quick wrap up. I don't want to take too long. Had a good night. I think I was either 3-1 or probably 3-1 in the plays. I gave out up here a 2-1. Gave out a live play. My guy Rui, I told y'all, I just felt it, and he cashed that early, the 300 and the plus 425. He cashed that, so hit a couple lays, gave out a couple live plays, man. It was a good night, so try and keep it up. My first play, Joel Embiid over 25.5 points. That's what I was just getting my last data point on. So it's pretty simple and square. It's Joel Embiid going home with a low line. He's normally at 30.5. And it's his MVP ceremony. I've gone to a couple Philly games, and they're crazy in Philly. They're going to be imploring him to come out and have a great game. I don't know who wins or who loses, but I expect Embiid, even if he's not his normal self, to be aggressive. And what made me really play this is I was watching this podcast with I don't know, Hoop Collective with Brian Windhorst and all these people. And they were saying basically the 76ers biometric tracking, like their second spectrum, all that dumb shit, basically says Embiid, he ran at his normal speed as he does throughout the season, and he played with his normal force. I guess they managed that, his amount of jumps, how he lands, all this other stuff. Who knows? Long story short, they saying that he was his normal self, even though it looked like he was a little labored. It showed that he was basically his normal self. So, I watched the game. I ain't gonna say I think he's 100%, but I think he's over 25 points percent. So,
I like the way you put that, Jay.
You know what I'm saying? And if you actually know about the Sixers and Joel Embiid, he's hurt all the time, and he plays himself back into shape. That's how he comes back. Joel Embiid isn't going to rehab and then get into shape for 3 weeks to come back. He plays himself into shape on the floor. So his second game back, love the look. Iron Ladder it. Me and Stim was on the 35 a couple days ago. They nuked that. It's not 700 no more. But if you want to play it, can't talk you off, but I ain't playing it. But I did do 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists for Joel. That's plus 950. And 30 points for Joel and 10 assists for Harden, just their averages. That's plus 700. So that's 2 blunt money bets for that game. I got a bunch more in my video, man. And shout out to the homie in here who said that, because dead ass, when you search blunt money bets on YouTube, I pop right up. So whoever said that, yo, shout out to that guy, man. Next play, I'm not leaning. Jamal Murray over 22.5. I gave him out game 1. Easily went over that thing. And game 2, I stayed off him because the line went up 3 points, inexplicably, in my opinion. So, reason why I'm on Jamal Murray, some of it was already mentioned. Not gonna go into all of it again, but Jamal Murray is a dog. Jamal Murray has got 21 plus shot attempts in every game in this playoff except for 3. He's coming off of a bad shooting game, and just to get into the mind state of these players, which I don't know, I'm just guessing. This is a big game. Their coach, Mike Malone, is not going to say, all right, guys, let's just go up it. No. He's like, yo, we need to keep our foot on their necks. So Jamal Murray's going to come out, in my opinion, and be aggressive. Like you said, the role players tend not to play well on the road. So KCP, I wouldn't touch his threes, even though we cashed out on him first 2 games. Bruce Brown, all these guys, I'm good on them. But the stars to be stars tonight, I love that. So give me Jamal Murray. I got his 35 points at plus 1,000. He did us dirty last time, getting 34. So I would only play Jamal Murray 35 points up to plus 800, man. That I will leave it there. But yeah, Jamal Murray. Next, KD over 42.5 PRA. Oh, and Jamal Murray up to 23.5 for some bucks. Fine. It's literally the same exact thing when I gave him out game 1. It was 22.5. I gave him out early. Came on the show, it was 23.5. I said, that's fine. He covered it. Same thing. If it's 23.5, I'd take that as well. KD, 42.5 PRA. Bro, I've been waiting for this game since Monday night. Or Sunday night. Whenever they last play, I've been so excited about this game. The KD disrespect is getting outlandish. Now, I watched a wonderful documentary that explained the way Denver defense is playing him and Book. It's basically like it looked like they're playing on one-on-one, but he's getting trapped, and there's a reason why he's taking a bunch of BS shots and threes.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it's Kevin Durant, man. I don't care. Kevin Durant, I'm not even going to say a legacy game. The only thing in my analysis that kind of made me a little scared was that series against Boston last year. And that series against Boston last year, 2 years ago, whenever it was, he was terrible. And they found a way to shut him down. Not shut him down, but kind of make him not be as good as his normal self. But what I did notice is in that game 4, when they was about to get swept, Bro shot 31 times. He only had 39 points, but he shot the ball 31 times in that game 4. The game 3, he shot like 6 of 11. I don't think KD is going to do that again. As far as being not aggressive, I think we're going to get 25 to 30 attempts. If you're going to give me 25 to 30 attempts with KD, yeah. Finesse was just talking about the points. That's fine. But I just think KD, I did play the 40 at plus 700 immediately when it was posted, and the 35. But the PRA, I just love it more because I see KD being on triple-double watch tonight. I've seen KD with his back against the wall, with everybody saying he was maybe washed up or the Nets were going to be done. I seen KD play his best game ever. And they lost against Milwaukee, but I think he had like 49, 17, and 12 or something like that. And that's with Jeff Green in the corner for Brooklyn. That wasn't with Devin Booker out there. So yeah, man, give me KD to bounce back. He hasn't had the best series, and a lot of that is Denver's defense. But you got 4 days to adjust. Come on, Monty, get the boys open and let KD cook. So KD over 42.5 PRA. That's on DraftKings. FanDuel is 43.5. So blow money bets for that game. And I don't know if they still available. I gave these out on Tuesday. KD to score 40, Book to score 40. That's plus 8,000. KD to score 35, Book to score 35. That's like plus 1,100. I ran back to 30, 30, 25, 25 lay that we did game 1 that almost hit. I didn't play game 2 because it lost value, but I like the value tonight. So that's 30 and 30 from KD and Book, 25, 25 from Jokic and Murray. That's like plus 1,000. So there's some blood money bets for that game. And my last play, man, campaign, I'm with you. It's so funny because the first, after his points and assists, over 13.5, over 15.5 points and assists, and that's minus 130. You can get to 16.5. I drank the juice. But my second bet was his threes, his threes ladder, because I just figured he'd be wide open, getting open threes. So I'm with you on campaign threes, but what I did was I looked at campaign when he plays between 20 and 25 minutes, and outside of this playoffs, of course. And he tends to go over this line. When he doesn't go over the line, it's because it's points. I wasn't sure if I wanted to play his points or assists. So when that happens, I tend to play points and assists. Same thing with points and rebounds. Yeah, I just like campaign. He's going to have a lot of usage. I expect him to play between 20 and 30 minutes tonight. If campaign gets 30 minutes tonight, I think he breezes over his points and assist numbers. Like Chris said, I can't talk you off the threes. I did play that at plus 500, but I also played campaign to have 15 points and 8 assists at plus 1,300. So, yeah, that's what I'm on just to wrap it up, man, because I said a lot. Campaign, points and assists, over 15.5. 16.5 is fine. KD over his PRA 42.5 on DraftKings, 43.5 is fine. Jamal Murray 22.5 points, 23.5 is fine. And Joel Embiid over 25.5 points. He may not be healthy, but he's healthy enough to score more than 25 points. That's what I'm on. Appreciate you, bro.
Absolutely, Dream. Absolutely, bro. And check Dream out on his YouTube page as well, man. Dream got the looks, a little blunt money bets, some straights. Yeah, Dream got a little bit of it all, man. Appreciate you, Dream. Hope you catch the looks, man. Appreciate you sharing those. Cam, coming to you real quick. What up, Cam?
What's good? How you doing? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, man. How about yourself? How you doing?
I'm good, man. Good. Just been a little busy with work, but back on it tonight. I got a few plays. It's funny. I'm on Jamal Murray too. So I played that basically as soon as it came out. So I got the 22.5. I just think one of those, it's a zigzag game in my opinion. He's going to get a lot of shots. I don't see him having 2 bad games in a row in this series. It's too important of a series for them, especially where they're at. It's a team winner. For the first game, though, I'm on a Malcolm Brogdon. I'm going back. Cash me out twice in a row now. It's just too low. 14.5. He's clearing it easy, and if you're watching, he's just like when he comes on with the second unit, basically he runs the offense, and he's just a really smart player, man. The guy just takes the right shots. He takes open shots, gets in the lane. He's eating up the Philly defense. At least that second unit, and they're keeping him on with the first unit. And if Derek White even falters a little bit, he's the first one on. Anybody who has any foul trouble, it's Malcolm Brogdon who's the first one on. I think I can't remember who got into foul trouble last game. I think it was Jason Tatum, and there was like, all right, Brogdon, get in there. So they're shooting. Had 23 points in I think it was 20 minutes or something. So 14.5 too low for me. So I took over 14.5 for Brogdon. I'm also on So this is shout out to Dream. This is he gave me the idea. I was watching this YouTube channel. So I took campaign 15 points and 5 assists at plus 280. I just think somebody else has to score the ball. Campaign's pretty good normally. Like before, obviously recently he's had all these injury issues, but before when he was deputizing for Chris Paul last year, he was clearing that easy, like real easy. So I'm hoping he gets a little life injected in him. Going back home and at plus 280, it just felt like nice odds there. So I'm on that little 2-piece parlay. And then my last play, pull up. Oh, is it? So funny enough, Dream, I'm on KCP again over 1.5 threes. It's too low. He shoots 41% even on the road. He's gonna take, in my opinion, probably 5 to 6 threes tonight. I hope he takes 4. It's a little scary. But if he takes at least 6 threes, I'd go with the percentages of him hitting 41% of that and getting us to 2. Until they move it, I'm going to play this every single time. So until they move KCP up from 1.5, and if he does hit 2 tonight, they'll move it. So that's kind of where I'm at. So that was my last play. And then a little blunt money bet for me was just taking Harden triple-double plus 2,000. I like that a lot. That number. It's pretty high. For me, it was just like, you know what? Harden's got to do something after that last game. And at plus 2,000, I'll throw $5 on that, $100. You know, why not? So, yeah, that's it for me, man. Those are my plays for tonight. And respect to everybody up here. Probably going to tail a few of the plays. I really like that Jason Tatum one. I was kind of looking at it, but I didn't get there. But I think I'm going to get there. That rebounds and assist line, I like that. It's minus 120. It's real nice, actually. So I'm probably going to take that too. But yeah.
Nice. Okay. I like that everybody, you know, off of KCP, and you're like, nah, check the numbers, and he still shoot good on the road. I'm gonna keep playing him. I couldn't talk you off, bro. Could not talk you off. I think, you know, we getting so infatuated with only playing role players when they're at home. So I like that you're going against the grain, man. I'm not on KCP today, but I mean, if he hit 3 threes, it wouldn't surprise me at all. I just think, you know, for Denver, they gotta make sure for Phoenix, they gotta make sure they slow down. You know, he can't hit 3, and, you know, Michael Porter Jr. also hit 3 or 4, and he's a surprising guy. I haven't heard, you know, Michael Porter Jr. name mentioned probably since, I feel like the All-Star break has been so long, but that's a different topic for a different day. But I like the looks, Cam. I hope you cash it, man, for sure. G3, you up next, man. What's going on? How you doing?
Pretty good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you good. What's going on?
Not much, man. Not much. I appreciate everybody here. Definitely cash some looks with you guys over the years of listening to you. But I did have a question for you. I noticed yesterday, vast majority were on Golden State first quarter. And I went on FanDuel, and I saw FanDuel had a little banner where it said Golden State wins first quarter. I'm like, okay. And then they lost. So do you guys go and look and see what FanDuel is promoting before you put the looks in, even despite like all the analysis?
So my answer to that question is no, G3. I typically cap the games without looking at any of the sports books. You know, just based on, you know, how like the just my knowledge that I have, like, and if I'm taking the first quarter, which I haven't really taken too many because I've been cold, but if I'm taking the first quarter, I typically you know, I really like that first quarter a lot. But what I found is that it's the same thing, right? Me and Finesse talked about this yesterday. Is that you know, it typically takes a while, you know, just because the games don't always play out, right? Teams got to kind of settle in. And even if you like a first quarter, it may be, you know, more of a first half. Even if the team doesn't typically play well in the first half, and they typically play a little better in the first quarter. Like, I had a lot of numbers that backed up Golden State in the first quarter yesterday. But, you know, they didn't come through. Like I said, LeBron hit some threes. It's a lot of uncharacteristic stuff that can happen through the course of 12 minutes that typically won't happen over the course of 24 minutes, let alone, you know, 48 minutes. So I think that's the easiest way to explain it, is that we can see a lot of outlierish stuff, you know, in the first quarter. But typically, you know, the way the game goes based on how you cap it, it's going to flow in that way and get back to that way throughout the, you know, first half and first quarter. So, yeah, I don't typically, you know, go on FanDuel and see what's being promoted and then say, you know what, let me find a way I can tail it, or, you know what, now I don't like it as much, because if I like it, I just like it, you know?
I got you. Okay, no. That's cool. I saw that they were promoting, I think it's the Philly and Boston game. 2 threes hit in the first 3 minutes. I went against it to see if my theory is true, because LeBron damn sure called me an idiot hitting 3 threes in like the first like quarter and a half. So
Yeah, so it's a lot of volatility there, man. It's it's very volatile. I would say both of these teams definitely can hit 2 threes in the first 3 minutes, but and I would before playing those, I used to get those out last year, but I need more like a more data. I think this game is an under game. I think the pace that they play at is really really slow, which is probably why it's being promoted. Both of these teams play really really slow when Joel Embiid plays, and that's not to say that 2 threes can't be hit, but it wouldn't surprise me if they're not. So I hope the odds were juiced to the under more so than the over.
Oh yeah, for sure. Thanks, man.
Absolutely, bro. Let's see, Stefan, what's going on, guy? My guy, and then Teddy, I'm coming to you, and we're gonna wrap up. What up, Stefan?
Doing excellent. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. What's going on?
All right, so I have 2 plays. I thought Finesse did an excellent job breaking down Horford. I'm going to go back on that ladder of pain that he screwed me on the other day when I had him for 2 threes in the win, and he kept bricking 3 after 3 after 3. So I have that play, and one I have that's like super duper obscure, but I like these spots in the playoffs where you can kind of have a theory and like go off of it. So I agree with every single thing Finesse said. I think the Celtics come out here. I think they're going to be dominant. I think they're really going to impose their will. I think that the Sixers might have a run in the middle of the game, but the Celtics are significantly better in my opinion, and Embiid's 60%, 50%. So on FanDuel, they have this thing where you could bet first player to 10 points. So I'm going to roll with Jaylen Brown tonight. He's at plus 380, which is a beautiful number. So in his last 4 first quarters, he has 7 attempts. And in the first 2 first quarters of games 1 and 2, he has 13 points. He has 14 points. And I'm not a big believer in doing the thing of, since it's happened this many times in the past, it's going to happen in the past. But I do think that there are certain players that tend to torment certain teams and certain fan bases. So Jaylen Brown, in his last 6 appearances in Philly, has 8 or more points in the first quarter and 5 of the 6. So it's some of the things like I've never done this before. They always have all these extra bets, and I just feel like the books, they don't have a clue how do you cap who's the first to 10 points, So I'm just gonna give that a shot at 380 and see how that goes.
Okay. Hey, he is the guy that typically starts them off well. So
yeah, and he also has 7 attempts in the last 4 first quarters, and if you look at like first quarter logs, like he's shooting the ball like noticeably more than everybody else. So.
Absolutely. The
only thing, slap 2 threes, get to the cup, get fouled, get another one down the lane. First 4 possessions, and like let's just make the spread.
Yeah, it does feel like he attacks the paint early in the game to try to set the tone. If you listen to the post game interview, I think it was Malcolm Brogdon who came out and said, we just kind of played through Jaylen Brown. He set the tone for us early. So the only thing that scares me just a tad bit is that Tatum, did have such a poor game, and I could see him kind of wanting to get himself in rhythm, but I couldn't talk you off of it for the value. Plus 380 is really good value, Stephen, for sure.
Appreciate it. Thank you, bro.
Absolutely. Back to Dream real quick, and then I'm coming to you, Teddy. What's up, Dream?
No, it was good. I was gonna ask Stephen, my guy, what's Jaylen Brown just his first quarter points line in general?
Good question.
Probably 7.5 if I had to guess. 6.5. I could be
6.5.
Yeah, maybe 6.5.
Yeah, 7.5 plus money.
That's what I figured.
I might do a little bit on the first quarter, a little bit on that. That's actually a good call by you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Glad you brought that up, Jane. Teddy, coming to you. What's up, Teddy?
What's up, man?
How you doing?
Doing good, man. This Nuggets series has been really profitable for me. But I think this is the game where we fade KCP. I know it's a pretty lively play today, but I'm actually going to take his points under 10.5. That gives us room even if he does hit 3 threes. I just see that's the most of his points come from the 3-point line. But like I said, I think this is a game where we could fade KCP. And I just had a quick question. I know there's a lot of love for Jamal Murray today. If people really think that Jamal Murray is going to show out like I've been hearing all day, then don't you think the Nuggets are live then? Wouldn't you consider maybe putting money on them? Because if he's putting up 30 points today, I'm assuming Jokic is going to give you 20. At that point, wouldn't you consider them as a live dog today? I
think a lot of people do think that they're a live dog today, Teddy. I'm not one of those people. I mean, granted, anything can happen, right? But as this game's gonna really be on Monty, I think he got to, really. I've heard a lot of different things about, ways for the Suns to be successful, right? Like the role players have to step up. I think campaign has to play well. I even listened to somebody say that maybe they run the offense through Ayton, because when Ayton is the guy that has the offense running through him, he plays better on the defensive end, and that could help with slowing down Jokic. It's a lot of different ways. Nobody talked about Aiden at all, but I think he's averaging like 18 points at home versus 15 points on the road in the playoffs. And, it could potentially be him. So, I think it's a lot of different paths to success. It's one of those things where it's kind of like Golden State and LA, in my estimation, that we didn't necessarily know what adjustment Steve Kerr was going to make yesterday, but we knew that they were going to adjust. We knew I didn't know what he was going to do. I just thought that the Golden State Warriors were going to bounce back, and it was an effort thing. So I think that's the one thing that we always talk about motivation, and what you can't cap is the motivation. So I do think that they're live dogs. Some people, are taking them on the money line, taking them, plus the points. And if that's how you feel, then definitely ride with it. Definitely ride with it.
Right, man, and just quickly, because I know you got to get going, but it's crazy. I saw a stat today. When Eric Lewis is officiating the LeBron James game, he's 0-82. That's by far even worse than Scott Foster versus CP3.
Hold on, what? Eric Lewis 0-82 in LeBron officiated games?
Yes, 0-82 in his career. I think. All right, I think I saw it earlier. Something crazy like that.
I can fact check. I can fact check that study. I'll tell you. I'll let you know.
Check it or something, but it could be wrong. I was like briefly going over Twitter today, so maybe it's against the spread or something. But it's crazy. And then one last thing that you made a good point earlier when someone asked you, do you ever check on FanDuel when they do those certain when the public's on a certain side? And I agree with you. You cap based off what your knowledge, and you shouldn't care what the public is on. Like yesterday, a lot of people were on Golden State. They still covered the spread. So it's just one of those things. You can mine yourself. You can mine if you have a play in mind and the numbers back it up, you go with your gut, and you really can't be capping based off what the public thinks. That's just where I completely agree with you on that.
Yeah, absolutely, Tay. I think a lot of people. It's a lot of different people who like to indulge in sports betting, and a lot of them are just consumers of the content. They don't actually handicap. They want to see what some of their favorite handicappers are on, and then they just kind of say, okay, well, such and such. These 5 people are all on this play. Let me try to find a way against it, and that's totally fine. But if it's 5 people that you trust, and if it's 5 people that are profitable, and you want to fade them, best of luck, man. Is what I tell people. Just go with your gut, though. I just always start with doing your own homework yourself, man. Figure out your process. But yeah, Teddy, great points by you. I think, like you mentioned, KCP, to go back to your look, absolutely, he could definitely hit the 3 threes and still stay under the 10.5 points. I think that's a sharp look, Teddy. If so, KCP made you a lot of money this series if he goes under 10.5 points. Best of luck, Teddy. I hope you cash it, man.
Yes, sir. Much love, bro.
Absolutely. Dream, I see your hand back up. What's going on, bro?
Just to answer Teddy real quick. First of all, that's a great look on KCP down to 10.5 with the 3 threes. That's crazy. But to answer your question, since I'm on Jamal Murray, they have 4-point dogs. So yeah, I would guess they live. But the reason I could see Jamal Murray having a really strong game and them still losing by 5 or 10 points, just because I would expect the Phoenix role players to have a better game at home. Monty Williams to adjust more, and then when you the coach that's been winning, I don't know what adjustments do you make. Like, you already been winning, so I don't know if it's going to be too much new. So I can see, the Denver role players not playing as well. KCP, Bruce Brown. So that's how they could lose if Jamal Murray has a good game, or even Jokic. And as far as that FanDuel thing, y'all right about you cap what you cap. But what I do is, like, I won't put one of those players on like a parlay. So if I'm putting like a parlay together or a long shot, and I see like they offering Clay 5 threes at plus 200, then I'll stay away from it, because I do think that's kind of suspect when they do that. But as far as like a straight bet, you gotta play what you pay.
Yeah, for sure. Just cap it, and then you take what you absolutely love, man, for sure. I'm gonna get up out of here, but I'd be remiss without giving my guy Mitch the floor for a second. What up, Mitch?
Hey, what up, Chris? Thanks, man. Just a quick one here. I'll make it speedy. I got my favorite play. I'm sorry if someone already said it. Was Tobias Harris tonight, over 21.5 points and rebounds. He's cleared in all 6 of playoff games so far, and we don't know exactly the extent of Joel Embiid's injury. So I'm looking for him to keep eating. Boston's planning for Maxey, Harden, and Embiid, and he's hanging out in a corner and he's naked all day. So even his threes, I like his threes as well. But I'm on his points to rebounds 21.5 over, and it's sitting around I think minus 104. So I saw his points. Some sites it went up to 15.5, but that PR is still the same. So that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm liking for this first game.
Nice. Tobias Harris over 21.5 points plus rebounds for Mitch, and like you said, he's been killing, and it bodes well with Joel Embiid potentially not being, not potentially. I don't think he'll be 100%. And the guy's good. He can still get his numbers even though he's not 100%. But I like the look. I like the look a lot. Somebody to kind of help out. I do think that the guards for Boston continue to do a good job on Harden. I'm not sure where Harden numbers rank today. Like I said, I think he still goes under the 34.5 points, rebounds, and assists. To go under as well. So I think they kind of correlate. But Harden could get the rebounds. He could definitely get the assists. So couldn't talk anybody off. That was just a lean for me. Official player props. I talked about Malcolm Brogdon. Not Brogdon. I'm sorry. Marcus Smart to go over his 20.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Alana, he's cleared pretty consistently, and I like him. I trust him on the road as well in this spot. And then in the last game, campaign for me, man. I know I did the propcast with my guy Munoz, and we kind of talked about this one towards the end of the show and off air a little bit. I see him down in the chat. I like his threes today, man. I just think that he's going to be the guy that's the beneficiary of some of those pick and roll top of the key double teams. He's going to get the looks when Devin Booker and Chris Paul get the double team and draw a lot of attention. And I also think that he probably won't get played off the floor. Like I said, those three guys, 3 and D guys like Torrey Craig and Okeke, I think those guys could potentially get played off the floor for TJ Warren and potentially Terrence Ross tonight. But as far as backup point guard minutes, I don't see Campaign's gonna get the volume. So as long as the volume's there, I like it a lot. Over 1.5 is plus money. 3 is plus 475, plus 490, depending on where you're shopping. I think FanDuel had the better line at 3. But then if you bet it on bet 365, just a sprinkle, you could take his 4 threes. If you want to go that far at plus 1425. So that's the long shot for me, as my guy Dream would say, a blunt money bet. And those are the looks. So official looks, just to kind of go over it again. They're all on the banner at the if you're watching on YouTube. I did lay the 2 points with Boston today. You guys can definitely shop around. It might be some 2 still available, but I got the 2, grabbed it early this morning around 9:45 Eastern time. I also played Boston and Philly to go under 215. Marcus Smart over 20.5 points, rebounds, and assists in that game. Denver and Phoenix under 225. I know it's going to be pace, but like I said, back against the wall. I think Phoenix has to play better defensively than they do offensively. And without Chris Paul, I think their offense could struggle, and Denver continues to play, pretty solid defense. So I think Denver offense will struggle a little bit as well on the road, where their role players won't play as well. So I know some conflicting stuff there. And then campaign over is 1.5 threes. You can sprinkle up to whatever it is that you want to, 3, 4, whatever you want to do there. And then the leans that I talked about, I did not play officially James Harden under his points, rebounds, and assists, but I did, talk about him going under. Also, same thing with Jamal Murray. I know a lot of people are on his over, whether it's points, but like I said, I think it's more of a defensive game based on the numbers that I looked at. And Jamal Murray in 2 road games versus Minnesota earlier in the playoffs had 19 and 18 points, and he shot under 40% in both of those games, and under 30% from the 3-point line in both of those games as well. So he could potentially bounce back today, which is why it's just a lean for me, and I didn't play it officially. So best of luck to you guys. Hope everybody has a really profitable night. Probably be back tomorrow, even though I haven't figured out exactly what I'm gonna do tomorrow yet. But I'll let you guys know. Enjoy the games today, man, and let's cash some tickets. I'm out.